Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Kathy and this is More Than a Conqueror. We talk about real issues, give godly wisdom, and practical advice that's relevant to your daily life. On the panel today are single moms, Tracy and Deshawn. And our question today is, how do you learn from the past, but not let your past rule your future? Tracy.
That's easy, because my past is so different than my future, Since I've started coming to church, I make all my decisions completely different. I'll never repeat the past as long as I stay grounded in the Word and read it daily and don't backslide. My future is very bright now. Before I was just a lost little puppy.
Okay. Deshawn?
Oh, that's a good question. Not letting your past define your future, but learning from it. I think that's the key, is when you're able to take the wisdom, or when you're able to find tidbits of wisdom from your past and use them for your future. So whether it was a heartbreak or a setback or a failure, whatever it was that daunts you or was daunting, to find the wisdom, to find the growth in that. What was the light in that darkness? Because there is always something good to come out of every situation. And so what did you learn? So really asking myself, okay, well, what did I learn from that I can take into my future, but then leave the past in the past? The Bible tells us that old things have passed away and now all things have become new once we have life in Christ. And so really taking hold to that and understanding that the past is the past. Walk away from it. Take what you can, take the good, and then walk away. And when you walk away, you learn to make better choices. And then also knowing that if you stumble along the way, it doesn't take you back to your past. Old things have passed away. Once you become new in Christ, you're no longer that person who used to do those things. So when you fall, have grace for yourself. Understand that you're covered in grace. You're covered in God's grace. There's forgiveness there. So learning to forgive yourself, you get back up and you keep pushing, you keep moving forward. Understanding that God isn't looking at you through the eyes of a sinful nature, through the eyes of disappointment, through the eyes of failure. He's looking at you through the eyes of Christ. And that in itself, your past is your past, and you just move on to your future.
Do you guys have any examples from your lives as single moms?
Of how our past is now not going to define our future? Well, I'm definitely not going to date the same type of man.
Right.
That's the number one way.
Yes.
And that will, that one choice will lead to a much better future. I now have criteria, and I also have the wisdom to guard my heart above all else. And so I think that dating a godly man is the only thing for me at this point. And so in that respect, I think a lot of my pain and a lot of my, quote unquote mistakes came from just choosing people that had a character deficit, even though I did too. But choosing them and making a life with them when I needed to do some work, and now in the future I'll be looking for somebody who's already done that work.
Sounds good. What about you, Deshawn?
For me, I would have to say, growing up without my mother and my father, that was something that I dealt with a lot. So coming into Christianity, it was really hard for me to grasp the concept of the love of God, because your own parent, it's like you grow up and your parents don't love you, or it's not that they don't, but they can't love you the way that they're supposed to. And so how is it this God who has created everything, this grand God, how can he love me? And so just going along the journey, and receiving grace and receiving forgiveness and receiving goodness from God, and really getting to know who he is, his character, that he is love, that he is good, that he wants what's best for me, and that he really does stand in the gap as a parent when our parents aren't able to be there. It's really, like I'm able to, at this point now, I'm able to receive God's love and also give that love to my parents. And so I was able to take from go from not being able to receive love at all to now being able to receive and to give, which is it's remarkable.
Well, that's all we have time for this episode. We hope you enjoyed this discussion. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.